So, yeah, we resume our story. It's a lazy evening during the week of downtime, and our characters have sort of found this deep, hollow place deep below the isle. It's not really sure what it is. It seems that there's this mystical force coming from it. A little sad, but also filled with joy. Zacharias, teleporting the others in, have shown down here, and sort of looking around, there's not much more than a table, a few chairs, meager, simple, looking like the first table they got to manage together in the Horn. As you look around, you see more than just yourselves. It is as if you're surrounded by spectral figures, almost as if, well, people are looking at you. The sentence keeps sort of hanging in the air, and soon enough you begin to see them, the rest. Well, the yous, the prior incarnations of yourselves, as you settle down around the table, feeling a weird sense of melancholy, of times long past, times to come. Sort of a weird sense of calm, as if this moment is outside of time, as if this room has a magic, that when you leave it, you'll forget it ever existed, and anything happening inside of it will be gone. For this time, you can be honest, open, regret, talk, fight, hug, and it'll have no consequence upon the real world.
A faint golden inscription along one of the walls. In Draconic it says, Chamber of Remembrance. So yeah, welcome to Way of the Wicked 1 Year Spectacular!
Bum-ba-da-dum!
Very melancholic spectacular so far.
It has been 1 year and 6 days since the first session of Way of the Wicked. A little before that, we actually got together and talked about it, and I think that's what we were going to be talking about first today. We'll look at our program.
Yeah.
I think I'll just, tell people what they can expect from up, so that if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not interested in some part of it, you can just skip ahead and find the next. Exactly. The first thing we'll do is we'll talk a little about how the campaign started, why we chose this campaign, and sort of our initial thoughts and reactions, why we made the characters the way we did, and how we sort of looked forward to them changing. Basically going back to the very first time before the campaign started and talk a little bit about that, different perspectives and such. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the books we have played through so far, chapter for chapter basically, and talk about the big events that happened, talk about the different places, what could have been better, what could have been worse, if we were there again now, what would we do, what was great, what was maybe not so great, what was interesting, all these different things about really anything that comes up during this basically very extended walkthrough of the whole campaign up until this point. And in the last segment, we sort of have some awards we want to give out. There are different categories for these awards, and you'll find a lot more about them when we get there. Yeah.
Indeed.
And with that, I suppose we should just begin. And I think really this begins a few weeks really after we finished the last campaign. That being me, Jonas, and Jake, Griffin God, and, to some degree, I, Pope, and Grimmith.
And Sir Klinsky for a while.
Yes, and even Ouija for a day or two.
Yeah.
We finished the campaign Age of Darkness a bit hurriedly, as players had other places to be and other things to do, and, it was nice and relaxing for a little while, sitting back, not having to prepare a campaign, but the time kind of grew restless, having been used to preparing a campaign for 1 year, it kind of becomes a thing you go back to and begin to simply just be a thing you do almost out of habit, and when you can't do it, it feels a little awkward. And so I began looking at other campaigns and whatnot. I talked to Jonas a lot about different things, what would be cool. He talked me into trying Pathfinder out. I was kind of done with 3.5 at that point, and Jonas promised me the Pathfinder would be impossible to break.
I don't think I said it just in those exact words.
Maybe not in those words. But I got the meaning, and then so we began. I think you got pretty excited about it. I began receiving a lot of PDFs.
Yeah,
campaigns and like primers and players guides and whatnot.
Yeah, I had bought Way of the Wicked like several months before. I had it on my hard drive for quite some time actually, and I was sort of toying around with the idea of maybe running it myself. But at that point when I had it, I already had one game going with some friends, and I had Age of Darkness going with you guys. I had no time basically, so I just stashed it away for a rainy day or whenever the schedule sort of cleared. And when the schedule kind of cleared with Age of Darkness going away, I saw my chance basically.
Pounced.
Yeah, I mean I found it because I was like, I really like the idea of trying to make like an evil campaign work, because you can do many things when you're evil that you really can't do in a normal heroic campaign. And you always play the hero, so I kind of want to try something different. So I basically Googled like Pathfinder evil campaign, and came upon a forum discussion on the Pathfinder boards where someone was basically what people were discussing like options for trying evil campaign. It was a couple of years old, and someone in that discussion said, "Oh, there's this like campaign in the making called The Way of the Wicked," and there was a link to it, and I was like, "All right, I'll check that out. That sounds interesting." Was a bit skeptical because third party and all, and quality there can vary quite a lot actually. But I found it and realized that not only was the Way of the Wicked released, it was completed. Like, it was a complete campaign there, and so I was like, "Yep, I clearly need this," and so I bought it.
As that happened, I received it. At that point, I basically was, I was doing a little bit of school, I think, and I had a few days there of time, and I basically read the player's guide and thought, well, that sounds more interesting than Crimson Throne and what other campaigns I've been looking at for the player's guide. I just looked at the player's guide really because what if I didn't play it? I want to be able to. After you read the first book of a campaign, you've committed. You can never play as a player in that campaign, and as such, you want to be sure before you really get into it. But Way of the Wicked, I was like, yeah, I got very intrigued by it. I was like, oh, that sounds very interesting. There are so many questions, and so I looked in the first book, and well, I read all of them like in the span of a day. I was like, yes, this is happening. This is what it's going to be. This is the campaign I want to run.
Yeah,
this is so cool. There's so many awesome things going to happen.
Because I remember when I first gave it to you, you were kind of skeptical. You were like, I don't know, and then like day after you were like, yes, we're doing this. So it took a day.
It's happening.
Yep, it's happening. Whoa, there's a white border.
It really spoke for itself with its quality, as I'm sure
Yes.
many of you have seen by this point.
Yeah, it really did. So yeah, we had different campaigns sort of up in the air, but yeah, we kind of landed on this one. So then it sort of became a thing like, all right, we want to do this, but then the burning question, of course, was who we're going to do this with, because Manaki and I can't really play this by ourselves, So we kind of went about gathering our sort of A-team, I suppose.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation we had back then, because you were asking if I was interested, but you neither told me what kind of campaign it would be or who the DM would be, and I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. And you were all secretive and all, and that was really weird.
I was secretive on purpose because it wasn't really clear like what campaign it would be, or even if Manaki would actually be able to do it. So I didn't want to promise anything that wouldn't be able to deliver on, basically.
I don't remember much about that time. I think I was just really hooked for the campaign. Preparing Brandiskar.
Yeah, so we talked like, who do we want to pick? And I said, well, I basically just came off a Summer of Fun, and I really liked Sheep in that, and I really liked DDS. So I would, heartily recommend those two.
Like, who's Sheep?
Yeah, who the hell is
that guy.
Like Sheep was it's SMW. Oh, okay.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I disappointed him sometimes.
Yeah,
Let's have him join. I kind of owe him one.
Yeah.
I felt bad about it. I still feel bad about that. Because
the
back
story.
when we were playing,
Yeah, you tell
back
it.
when we were playing Age of Darkness, we're doing so on Twitch, and I received a message one day about, this person called SMW would like to we were saying we're missing a player, and he would like to join. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Let's talk to the others about that. And basically, the others were like, sure, but who is he? Like, we should think deeply about this. Basically, whenever we talked about it, it ended up with, we should think more on this. And then at some point, we just forgot it, I think. And because
eventually I actually contacted Grimmith to ask him, hey, I wrote an email to Manaki back then, and he was, we talked about it. But he was basically being Grimmith, brutally honest. We talked, but it's not going to happen, even though there's been no decision and anything. But the funniest thing about the entire situation was basically that 1 year later, when I think we were already playing Way of the Wicked, Manaki at some point went, oh God, you sent me a message on Twitch 1 year ago.
And it was like, hey, this sounds really cool, like really nice message from this person. And I had I must have disappointed him so very much. And that just sucks heavily, so... Yeah.
So
So
that was that, and DTS also from. Someone is moving around the room. Stop moving around the room.
No touchy.
What?
Yes. In my case, so I was on would have been my final or second to final week of my summer vacation, and then I just get a message from Manaki unexpectedly, and it's like he starts telling me about the. He starts asking me, would you want to take part in this campaign? Throwing things at me. I agreed. I myself, I haven't really had a decent campaign to go into. My campaign I was playing in was basically ended. It collapsed. So that ended up happening. And so as it turned out, I talked to Manaki for a little bit, and I eventually accepted. And there I am. Having no idea who the players were at the time.
Aha.
And to completely screw up our playing schedule, we decided we needed an American.
Our token American.
Sorry about that.
So our American we decided to choose was time immemorial Jake.
Yep. There's a tradition of me screwing up your stuff, so you got to keep it around.
In some way, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be the same without Jake, and I've had Jake in every single one. So of course, he's one of the people that I kind of, Jake always says yes, and that's great. So ask him, and he's there. He's there for you, and that's a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
For you guys, I woke up 2 hours earlier than my body wanted me to, and we didn't even start for an hour and a half after I woke up. So, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I have added all the pictures that has been made.
We'll go through them as we look at
And I don't remember how I got into this, to be honest.
I I know, because I was playing Age of Darkness at your place, and you had to be quiet
for
the entirety of Friday night.
Oh, I remember
it was like
that.
6 hours.
Yeah, I was like, now you be quiet and go to sleep. I gotta do
and don't snore.
I gotta do my D&D. If you make noises while sleeping, I'll wake you up. And basically, so I got you kind of made the rule that if I were to play again, you were to be in it, or I couldn't. So that kind of settled the deal.
Remember one time when you were at my apartment and you were playing Friday, and I was so tired and I was sleeping and I was snoring, and every time I snored you poked me and told me you're snoring. I was like, I'm sorry. And then we came up with this plan that I would have my head on the other end of the bed. so I would have Manakai's feet in my face. Then you wouldn't be able to hear me when I was snoring. Oh God, I remember.
This worked out much better, I think.
I also remember Tina at some point telling me that she was like, I don't really want to roleplay, and if I am ever roleplaying, I never want it recorded or never live on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she
And
did.
here we are.
I did say that.
Good luck with that.
Well, the first things first was because the first time I was gonna play was with Jake, Manaki, and Kolinsky. And J-Mac. I was kind of a stand-in for Kolinsky because he kept disappearing. So I was thrown into the group, so you weren't, I guess, beaten up. But then that had to stop because J-Mac had some stuff to do. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. It was kind of funny to play. And then Manaki was like, oh, this guy I played with on Friday called Jonas, he wants to start Kingmaker. I was like, Jonas? Oh, that guy with the priest?
Sounds like such a douche.
No, not the douche. It's just the only thing I've seen with Jonas was the whole perverted thing with that priest.
Yeah, the infamous sexual innuendo episode.
That was the
that
only.
was the best episode, though.
That's a great episode, yeah.
And the only reason I saw it was because Manaki texted me. He was at his own place, and now it's at home. And Manaki texted me, "Go on to Twitch. It's so fun." And I logged on, and I just logged in. You guys had walked into that Minotaur. I was like, what?
I think still to this day that is the best session I've ever had. That was
something.
so super funny.
Yeah,
you guys
can
won't
we
get
have
those.
a link to that episode somewhere?
I don't know.
I
If
think
we have it, Twitch might have swallowed it up.
Yeah, I don't know if it exists.
I know all of Griff's videos have been deleted from Twitch now. All of them.
Yeah.
Have they? Oh, that's terrible. Because I had a
Twitch.
Google Doc that was every Age of Darkness session.
But hang around, maybe. No, actually, it'll never be replicated.
No.
Lost
Twitch
one
wiped
for the
an
world.
account.
Oh god, that was great. But back to
It was indeed fun, but I was not very comfortable with. First of all, I knew this guy who was such an asshole, and he was called Jonas. So I was kind of skeptical.
And now you know me, and I'm still an asshole. So.
No, you're not the same person.
Oh, okay.
You're not the same asshole.
I'll take what I can get.
So I was not very comfortable, and Manaki kept telling me, you need to call Jonas and talk about your character. I was like, alone?
With this sexual predator guy?
So I told Manaki I was like comfortable with that, and he's like, maybe you can just text with him. I bet he'll be fine with that. And I was like, okay, I don't have him on my Skype though. And he was like, okay, fine. And I got you on Skype. I think I just wrote, hello? And I never talked to you before the actual session.
Yeah, I remember the first text you sent me. I seem to recall them being a bit standoffish, a bit distant. I was like, oh well, she's kind of private. That's fine. I didn't really reflect upon that. The only interaction you previously seen me in was actually the infamous cow whipping scene.
Well, the fun thing is, iPub was going to play in that one too, Kingmaker, and iPub had never met me. But the thing is, he has. What is it called? He banned me on Twitch.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
For
That garage.
Oh, iPope.
He banned me on Twitch for telling the others to stop using caps.
Mm-hmm.
I got the message banned. Reason for being smartass.
He is the one to talk. Man,
And
iPope. What a complete douchebag. I'm gonna say it. What a complete dick. Anyway.
So I was like, when iPod asked me, have you met before? And I was like, no, never. This is the first time. I thought that would be best. So I told him I had watched some of the stream, but that's it. We've never talked before. He has banned me twice though.
So yeah.
I remember you not really, when we began With the Wicked, you were kind of unsure if you wanted to join because of the way that Kingmaker ended.
Yes.
Yeah, and that ended because we ran out of
Very
people.
upset.
Well, we ran out of people.
Yeah, we ran out of people.
Anything happened
Which
with
is
Age of Darkness,
unusual.
really.
It is.
People just up and disappeared for various reasons, and
Well, you can always get more people. It's just the same people.
the problem is that when you're like 2 books in, it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult to bring in like a whole new party. Basically, we only had half the party was gone,
Then
and
the
it was a
king
mess.
left and a new one came.
Yeah, hello, I'm the new king.
Well, a
What?
freaking
What's
general
going on here?
left, and the iPop left, Griff left, and then we got Charlie the Lizard in.
Yeah, for a few sessions.
Charlie
You know,
the Lizard.
I like him.
I
Yeah.
like him too for the
Enjoy-
very
enjoy
short
my
time
food.
we had.
You know, still owe him for that, I suppose. And
Yeah.
who knows?
Yep,
maybe I'll pay you
I
back in the
think,
future,
yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
I might
knows?
add, he had the most splendid picture I've
It's on
ever
the
seen.
list.
A
Top of
very
the
nice lizard with a very nice top hat.
When one of us dies horrifically, Charlie, you're next.
Or leaves because we have to go to
When
university.
one of us dies, Charlie is next. I like the connotations of that.
Well, it was
So-
very nice of
Have
him
kids.
So,
to do
let-
that. But
let-
yeah,
So we
Let-
all joined up though.
Yeah.
In the end,
Yes,
But
that's the
yeah.
important part.
for the first sort of character creation briefing
Mhm.
thing, I think I read some mood text, basically.
Yep.
And you began browsing character options.
Yeah, and I was quick as a shark because I had my character concept like done already. I was like, all right, this is an evil campaign. It's going to be freaking awesome, and I'm gonna do what I have been thinking of doing for quite some time, like years. I've been thinking of playing a lich, trying to play a lich. That was my goal with this campaign, like, and that is basically what I formed Zacharias around, was this like lich concept. I wanted a wizard that would turn into a lich, and I basically formed Zacharias all around that. Like, I gave him a backstory. I tried quite hard to sort of anchor him in the world. I gave him families and friends, and like how they all die horrifically. And you've seen some of that if you watched the Zacharias special episode I uploaded a couple of weeks ago. And I was also pretty sure that I didn't want to make a blaster out of him. Because wizards are pretty damn cool. I was more of a blaster type before Age of Darkness, honestly, but then I saw for real what Alfred did there, like as a controller, and I was like, that is pretty cool. I want to make a controller wizard that later is going to be a lich. So I trolled around quite a bit and ended up on the Void school of magic, and basically looked at that and was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, the stuff you can do, like the utility of this school is great, and it's only going to get more powerful as you level. So there's no dead skills here. Like, everything is actually very useful. And so I convinced Manaki to allow me to play the Void school, because actually that is part of the Eastern Empires setting of Pathfinder. Is actually not something that is usually, like, normally around in Central Golarion. But yeah, I
I
did.
think it's akin to being a Tengu.
Yeah, it's akin to being a Tengu.
Oh.
So yeah, designed him to be a controller. My motivation was, I want to become a lich, and like, I want to build like that. I want to build like a kingdom of the dead, basically,
Listen to him.
and rule it for eternity.
Eternity.
Eternity. So that was my entire design philosophy and goal behind Zacharias. Is single-minded from session 1. I was like aiming for lichdom, and I don't know exactly when the rest of the group sort of caught on. I guess it wasn't really a hard thing really to catch on to, but at some point I remember like DDS saying something in chat like, oh, maybe I should become a lich, and I was like, like, cleared my throat basically. I was like, no, because I am.
Yeah, I remember I was the one who brought it up. I definitely I was scrolling through different ideas in my head of different things, and one of the things that popped into my mind was, wait a minute, evil campaign wizard. Is it possible Jonas wants to be a lich?
And I think at the point where you basically collected stuff for a secret magical project, that was the point where we all went like, oh, okay, I see.
That's where it went from being theories to being, okay, yep.
I think I caught on when you told me I'm gonna be a lich. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Then you sent me the freaking picture. I was like, what?
Admittedly, Tyne didn't even know what a lich was, so she has defense.
Well, yeah, my basic design was make a controller, make someone that is not gonna kill a lot of things, but like make it really difficult for the enemy to do anything, and like enable the party. That was sort of my goal.
What a
And
lich was. I just thought the lich and brave was the same.
and I I think I have succeeded fairly well, honestly. So yeah, that's basically my sort of initial thoughts and like design for Zacharias.
So there's Jonas's single-mindedness when making his character, and then
Yushi.
there's me. Because
Please, explain.
first of all, I've never played Pathfinder before this campaign. My first, like, what's the word? Whatever. My first D&D experience was Summer Fun, which was 4th edition, where I basically looked
Nothing
through-
like 3.5 and Pathfinder.
Yeah, it was very different. For that campaign, I basically looked through the classes and went, oh, that sounds cool. We need that role. I'm going to play that. And then kind of made stuff up around that. Not enough, probably. I didn't make a really good backstory for my character back then, Elvin. So I told myself I would do it better this time, but, well, things turned out differently. My character concept at the very start was basically I wanted to do something weird. Something that not just picking a class and playing that class for 20 levels straight. I wanted to make something really weird. And
So your solution was 20
Well,
strength?
Well, that came later. My first, like, kind of approach was actually a very different character that I never actually talked about. It was supposed to be a Magus that multi-classes later. And I actually had a backstory and, like, a whole, like, what to do for each level figured out. And I actually have a token picture here, too, that I can show. There we go.
Special
Yeah.
secret. Oh, look at him.
Never seen before. He was supposed to be a Magus.
Look at that guy.
And I basically finished the character and then went like, wait a minute, this is not special enough. This is not weird. This is normal. I don't want normal. So then I made a different concept, looked through all the like Pathfinder, SRD, and just read the whole bunch. And eventually, well, 20 strength sorcerer. With the plan to go 5-level sorcerer and then dragon disciple and then all that. The decision to multi-class into barbarian at level 4 was actually a like at the moment decision. I was like, wait a minute, if I do this, I get this. This is great. I'm going to do it. And that's basically how that turned out.
I was super skeptical.
I know.
When
I
was too.
remember.
when you went for your like melee like brutal sorcerer, I was like, what? What are you doing?
I did not know if it would work out, but I was willing to take the chance. I did spend a lot of time thinking about like the character build and stuff. At least the general character build, like feats and stuff, I'm still just taking at a bi-level basis, really.
Well, it really was because I remember Jonas being, oh, this won't work. I was like, oh, it's a good thing I have Manaki to help me with this kind of stuff. So I was like, phew, it's a good thing I have Manaki.
A sorcerer walking up to things and smacking them with a quarterstaff sounds weird, but
you did.
I think I made it work at this point.
I will say
You
say
went
that
hard
like,
with that quarterstaff, remember?
I will say that Kyron is a fantastically interesting character. He has evolved quite a lot.
But remember when he went around and hit people with a quarterstaff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He downed people in one hit of a quarterstaff.
Yeah.
So,
good.
so do you feel like you have realized the character concept you came up with originally, or has it changed a lot?
Yes and no, because my character concept at the beginning was very vague, really. I hoped it would play out something like it did, and because it did, I'm quite happy. But I didn't have like, oh, at level 14 I'm going to do that well, and this not so well, and I'm going to be in that role. I just kind of played it by ear, really. I knew that we basically had all the roles covered, so I basically decided to just go nuts with a weird build, which turned out to be not that weird of a build, really. It just seemed weird at the time. But, you know, Sorcerer, Barbarian, Dragon Disciple, there's the Blood Rager now, which is Sorcerer, Barbarian. So the combination of both isn't as strange as it maybe sounds.
Officially sanctioned now. And
Yeah.
I think we all agree that we can thank Sheep and Kyron for that.
Yes, I'm the
Yes.
pioneer.
Yeah,
of Blood
someone
Ragers.
from Pathfinder, like Paizo, took a look at our videos and were like, wow, we need that.
What?
No, that didn't
I
happen.
was a little confused here.
Happened.
It could have
No,
happened.
it's true.
Totally.
It's, in my world.
As for Kyron as the character Kyron, not the character class, basically, at the beginning, my backstory was a bit. I again made the same mistake I had in Summer Fun, which is not really anchor him to the world too much. And basically, at like level 11 or something, I came up with the entire idea. Wait a minute, I'm going to have like Form of the Dragon. What if I do this? And then I talked to Manaki about my idea, and that's basically how the whole Telemundus thing started. And I think that too worked out quite well, especially considering the connections to the world that eventually turned out from that. I enjoyed those sessions quite a bit.
In a way, the really like the vague backstory you gave. Basically, it's like using very like sort of large concepts like the man and such. Not really referring to any specific people. That really paid off in the long run. Or we made it work because we kind of filled in those roles when you came back and sort of said, "I want something more."
Yeah.
It allowed for modification basically, while still staying sort of to the original concept.
And I think that's perfectly viable, honestly, when constructing character backgrounds. As long as you sort of, fill it in as you go along.
If you want to leave a few holes, then it's fine.
I think
That
it was
guild you joined when you were 13, who knows what that is?
Yeah. My backstory by comparison was very meticulous.
It was such a surprise when you turned into Telemundus. So I was like, oh, cool, Kyron can do that. And then it's not freaking Kyron. It's some doofus.
Yeah, everyone was like, when it first popped up, we started looting, and he was like,
I was like, what?
Yeah, we can probably talk more about that during the recap,
Yeah.
but as for the character Kyron, that were basically my thoughts, and I think everyone turned out fine. I do like playing like this campaign and this character a whole lot, I have to say.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
Speaking Jake, then.
One more thing. As for like general thoughts about the campaign, at the start everyone was like, "Oh, let's play an evil campaign because we always play good campaigns." And here I was with my one campaign I played before, and saying, "You know what, guys? I haven't really played much at all." But I was very skeptical at the beginning about this whole evil campaign thing. I was still very skeptical because I started Summer Fun. The reason I applied for Summer Fun and sent the message to Jonas in the first place was because I was looking for a way to practice my English.
yes.
Great point to have a voice break. I was looking for a way to practice speaking English, and I was like, "Hey, I enjoy watching Griff stream," and that Jonas guy was looking for players, so I might as well take the dive and see what happens. And a lot of things have happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that my English improved quite a bit. I think I've gotten more confident with this whole role-playing thing. And a lot of that is due to this campaign. So far I've enjoyed everything a lot, and I'm looking forward to the future, really.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't know that. I was supposed to learn to improve your English.
Learn English with Way of the Wicked.
It was basically, I know that I can speak English, but there were no real life situation where I would actually like talk to people in English. At least I would talk German to people, of course. So I was like, hey, I can combine two things and see what happens.
I remember the first time I heard, I was like, I came in, Manaki was talking to someone in English. Like, we were talking to him, it's like, Jonas, he's from Sweden, isn't he? Yeah. Why are you speaking English? So I was completely surprised. I had thought, oh, we're just gonna speak Danish when we talk to Jonas, but apparently not.
I can understand Danish fairly well if I concentrate, but English is just so much easier for me.
I have a point. That is, what is a bardiche called in Swedish?
Skäggyxa.
See? I would never have gotten that.
I don't even... What the hell did you say, Manaki?
Bardiche. It's
A
like
bardiche.
a stake with a big axe on its end.
Yep.
The party ended up using it when fighting a certain enemy at one point.
Le bardiche.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what about... who wants to go next?
I think Jake should go next.
Character roulette.
I like that it's always me and Jake, and we're so quiet.
Well, you just have to speak up and pick your time.
Jake, this is your finest moment.
If you say so.
Just don't say what.
I was expecting a what?
What?
Yeah, I think we all were.
Go.
Look now, I'm paying attention, like I said. So yeah, I mean, I've been with these guys for a long time. I mean, I think I knew Sheep from something before. I think I played Minecraft with him and Griff at one time. Like, I think
Oh, yeah,
I
I think
knew
you did.
everybody. I played that campaign with Tina and J-Mac and everyone before, and then I played Minecraft with Sheep. And then there was Age of Darkness with Jonas and Manaki. And Dark I had played a couple campaigns with before, I think, like
Was
really
those your
short
epic
ones
Christmas
for
campaign?
like a couple sessions. And so I knew everybody when coming into Way of the Wicked. And I guess it's a tradition having me around. Because all I do is say what and hit things really hard. So, I mean, it's
Pretty good.
pretty manageable having me around. It's not like I'm a high maintenance character or human being, really. So, yeah, I don't know. As a character concept, I don't know if I really started off saying, I want to be an UIT Paladin. But I thought it would be cool to play a melee character after playing Uzmok in Age of Darkness. And I said, you know what? Being this giant, kind of evil menace sounds like a fun thing to do. So I decided to do that. And then the vampire thing was kind of spur of the moment. When we met Vistroma, I was like, I wonder if he'd make me a vampire. I kind of want to do that. So that happened. I mean, I had the same problem as Sheep where I have, like, I didn't really ground my character into the world. Like, I made a little bit of a backstory, but it hasn't really come up at all because we haven't been to Matherin. So, well, we have now, but
We have when you weren't here.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have.
We just imagine that Marcus visited his mother.
Marcus told them all these things.
Mhm. Mhm. But yeah. So, I mean, I don't really think I have a lot going, or had really a lot going for me with this character. It was just, this is kind of cool. I'll do this, and it ended up being I'm good against most things, and amazing against good guys, which is kind of the point of an evil campaign. So, I guess it worked out.
Jake, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
At what point did you consider Hell Knight?
Actually, I looked at it because I didn't know if I wanted to continue all the way to level 20 with Anti-Paladin or not, because I didn't really multi-class with those. Well, I did actually quite a lot, but it was kind of a thematic multi-class, which is, I guess, the same way that I'm going with Marcus. So I wanted to experiment with multi-classing because it seems like there's no point in having it as an option unless you do it. I just don't like the idea of, being a level 20 in one class. If I have the option to multi-class, I think it's a cool thing to do. So I was exploring around with options, and I saw the name. It was just Hell Knight Commander, and I was like, hey, I'm basically that already. What does this class do? And I liked it was worth it to me. And I talked to Manaki about the requirements because it says like you must slay a devil of your level or higher or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be really possible. So he negated that one. I had everything else, and we rolled with it from there, and it was pretty great. So I think it's nice. It lets me get a capstone ability in the form of being level 10 and getting the infernal armor thing. So I still get, like a high level ability, but I get to multi-class. So.
Yeah, if you don't rely on spell casting and spell levels and all that, why wouldn't you multiclass?
Yep.
I am a big proponent of multiclassing.
We've seen.
If you haven't guessed yet.
You sure are.
Anyone else questions for Jake?
No. Get out.
I wanna be honest. I think that maybe many of us like, oh my god, vampires, that is so cool. At least I was, but the thing is, it just didn't fit Cash's character at all. I was like, no, I have a chance to be a vampire, and my character doesn't want to be one.
Yeah.
Damn it!
I understand that as
Evil
well. Like,
campaign.
yeah.
Evil campaign.
I understand this perfectly.
I've played once in Manaka's campaign, and we met. There was suggestion that there would be vampires, and I remember I talked to the players. I was like, it would be so cool to be a vampire. I was a newbie at Dungeons and Dragons at that point, so they're like, oh, you can't do that. I was like, why not? Oh, because we're good and we have a paladin, so it wouldn't be a good thing. I was like, what? Oh, that sucks. and I was like, oh, cool, maybe I can become a vampire in this evil campaign. And I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. You never meet vampires that you can actually talk to. Well, I guess I was a little wrong.
In my case, I completely never thought about vampires. And when it came up, two things ran through my head. One side was, if I was to become a vampire, my character would be so uber strong, I would gain like an extra 200 hit points, for example.
I almost gained that many.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. On the other hand, though, it's like, this does not match my character in the slightest.
Yeah, it sucks.
Like, statistically, it's a brilliant idea.
It is.
In practice, personality...
So Tina, explain to us the concept of Cash then, and how undeath is something she would never become.
Why? Oh.
Yeah, like what is like Cash is...
Cash.
Yeah, she's actually one of the most mysterious of the members we have, because we know actually very little about her. Like we realized like a few sessions ago that she has a husband apparently, which everyone was like, what?
What? Explain.
Exactly.
Explain. I'll never be able to sound like that again.
No, it's pretty good.
And Dark didn't even record that session when I said explain, and it sounded so much like a Dalek.
Yep.
Damn it.
But yeah, explain to us Cash's character, her design and concept.
Well, the funny thing is, the whole Manaki was like, oh, we're gonna play an evil campaign. I was like, does that mean I can be a drow? Because at that point there were two games I played a lot, which was Skyrim and Assassin's Creed. And in Skyrim, I always want to be a drow because the Daedric and all that, I like them. I was like, oh, can I be a drow? And he's like, sure. I was like, can I be an assassin? And he was like, sure. I was like, oh my god. So it was kind of, I mixed those two games together, which was kind of cool for me. And but I was like, it would be pretty cool to use poison. And you know what? I never got up on that. I never got up on using poison with Cash.
You can still start doing that.
Yeah, sure, but I don't know. I do have some poison that gives damage to con, I think. I forget to use it all the time. So yeah, so that was the meaning with Cash. It was, I want to be able to be a drow because you can't be that in a good campaign. And I remember I told Manaki, I'm so bad with stories. Mike was like, well, no problem. I have this book. And then he showed me this book. And then he said, roll a dice. And I rolled a dice. And that's actually how Cash's past came up, with the roll of a dice.
Oh, the Ultimate Campaign one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that didn't fit was that I rolled that she would have a romantical relationship with a bugbear. And we were like, that doesn't fit. So we rolled that out and changed it. But yeah, she had a master, and the master got killed by an inquisitor. That is the whole roll of a dice, because I really suck at the story part. But the thing is, I guess it's because she is very secretive about all that. But the reason she doesn't like undead is because they're freaking dead. There is no feeling sensitive in the skin anymore. She is so attached to her skin and to the warmth of the skin. as she has told, I think, all of you, that she sees her body as a temple, and she worships it.
In her own way, being an alchemist and all.
Well, she only improves it. She doesn't kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
So how come you picked alchemist over a straight up rogue and go at the assassin prestige class, which would be what most people would do probably?
The worst thing is, it's actually because I looked on the class. First thing, I thought it would be pretty cool to use alchemy and with poison, but then I looked up on the class and ding ding ding, tumor familiar.
Oh really?
Yes, pet.
So it was
Oh,
the
of course.
idea of getting benign cancerous tumors that locked you into the class.
I wanted a tumor.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase said before.
So yeah, I was like, can I get a familiar with this class? And he's like, well, you can get a tumor familiar. And I was like, what's that? Oh, you have this thing that grows in your brain, and then you can get it out, and then it's a familiar. I was like, that is so cool. So
your eternal quest for pets, basically.
yeah,
It continues.
no, Zoe does not have any pets.
We can change that later.
Nope,
Not yet.
she's not gonna have any pets.
All right.
That
But yeah.
is my character.
Yeah.
She does have a lot of secrets, and yeah, she is indeed married, and the guy she is married to is actually her master's son, which and she has known that guy since he was born,
Interesting.
and he has been a annoying little kid. Basically, he has always liked Cash a lot, and Cash has always found him extremely annoying because he wouldn't shut up, and Cash is really bad with kids. But he kept asking for a pinky swear, and Cash kept saying shut up, and he kept bugging her, and then she finally said fine, pinky swear, and the pinky swear was to marry her when he grew up, and she thought, well, he'll grow out of it, but he didn't. He didn't grow out of it. So she held the pinky swear to get married when he was grown up.
That doesn't sound like a thoroughly evil thing to do.
Well, it was her master's son, and she really loved her master.
Uh,
You can't really kill him.
that's true.
And now she's married to that sucker, the brat.
You can't honestly suggest that Cash is not inherently evil.
She has tortured a lot of people.
Yeah.
And poisoned and stolen and...
She has the torturous eye, so she can torture people. So you can continue to torture people without killing them for as long as you want. She can torture all the time. She won't kill them. She knows how far she can get without killing.
All the time torture with Cash Incorporated.
Yeah, with Halfus.
And special guest, Halfus.
Where is Halfus?
Oh, that's true. He's not here.
Summon a Halfus.
Well, we can't put all of our minions in this room.
I
It would
really
get really
cramped.
cramped, I think.
So tell us about Asurius.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, I was at like my first or second day back at class. I believe that was it. I'll double check that. And I came home and I turned my computer on and I got a swarm of messages. As all of you had basically built your characters already in front of my eyes.
From us motherfuckers. Getting in your Skype message way.
Because before, like, in the period where between, the night when I logged off and the next afternoon when I turned my computer on, the number of messages I had were just incredible. I spent ages trying to read through them all. And basically, I was left to the fact that the party has no healer. So then I had Jonah saying, become a cleric, become a cleric, become a cleric. And that's what I heard for a few hours straight. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a cleric. The reason for that is mainly actually just because a systematic reason of I prefer spontaneous casting over prepared. It's player preference more than anything. So I was really confused what to do, and I started looking around, and I saw I found the Oracle class because I hadn't really done much Pathfinder either. I like tapped into it a little bit, but I haven't really done a lot. So I found that, And so I started looking for the mysteries and like, it's an evil campaign. Life's not going to work. Battle, it's not really what. Fire. I can work with fire. See, I could have arson. Yeah, this could work quite well. And then basically from that point, I started building up this character that was very much very supportive, very controlling, very much based around leadership, but also based around the destructive forces as well. Kind of trying to make a character that's very much balanced back and forth between everything, and trying to fill in kind of the gaps in the fight. Because at the time, we didn't know too much about what time was playing either, because we were like concerned, like, do we have anyone who can disarm traps or open doors, and we're not 100% sure what Cash can do. So we're like, so I decided, okay, I'll take the lockpicking skill, which actually turned out quite useful in session 1. And with that, though, I took these things in place. I took the background generator, which Jonas had shared around, and I started building up a character. Yeah, I started building up all these different pieces. I didn't go in. Originally, my idea was to make a very meticulous backstory, which I failed to do in the end, which I'm partially disappointed with. But on the other hand, I don't think my character suffered for it. I think I managed to play my character despite not having the full backstory I wanted. But yeah, so I just basically built up a character that could fill in that role while simultaneously filling in what I wanted, which was someone who would be, this charismatic, hopefully at some point, overlord.
Overlord.
Yes.
Did it live up to your expectations?
It's changed a lot from my original design. My original design was going to go down the enchantment path for spells. And at the time, I thought this was a brilliant idea. It completely matched. And then, as time went on, I started noticing a lot of the enchantment spells for the divine side aren't actually that good. A lot of them just don't tend to function that well. At least not in, at least not in practice for combat, which is something, one of the main focuses that were coming up a lot. So so that that's definitely something that's changed quite a bit. I mean, other than that big change that ended up occurring, though, it's been quite a. I enjoy playing Azurius a lot. I've enjoyed a lot of aspects about him. I've enjoyed how he's grown. I enjoy the changes. I've even enjoyed some of the more sudden changes, such as turning into an orc.
Yeah.
Which no one expected.
So I suppose, all in all, the characters decided. We will begin with the first session, and if I am now to give a short sort of set up the beginning of the session, I suppose we just talk about what happened during that session. Now we're all the way back in book 1 of Way of the Wicked, called A Knot of Thorns. And I remember reading you some sort of blurb about where you were and why you were here. You were in the prison of Brandiscar, and you have come here each